I'm going to talk before this song, and I know a lot of people don't like when I talk. So down in the description, there's going to be 2 time codes. One's going to say 00 talking, and then there'll be another time code under that, and it'll say song. If you don't want to hear me talking, just click on the time code where it says song, and it's going to go straight to where the song starts, okay? All right, I'm about to play a song by a band called Sure Conviction. It's called Man in the Middle, Remember Me. That's a little bit of an obscure band and song. It's a really good song. Back around 1990-ish, 91 maybe, we didn't even have a CD player yet. We still had cassettes. But I owned one CD, and it was Megadeth, Rust in Peace. In 1991, we ended up moving to Atlanta. After we got to Atlanta, I got another CD. I still didn't have a CD player, and it was Armored Saint, Symbol of Salvation. There was a Kmart nearby, so I went over there, and I brought the Armored Saint CD with me, and I said, well, we need a CD player now, because we're going to start buying these things and get rid of the cassettes. So I went in there with the Armored Saint CD, and I said, I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to turn all of them up one at a time. Just keep putting the CD and play the same song, and turn them all the way up. Whichever one has the best sound, we're going to buy. So we ended up buying a Sony CFD, I don't know the number, but it was a Sony CFD something boombox with a CD player on top and dual cassette at the bottom. When we moved to Atlanta, the pawn shops were totally different than they were in California. California, they got like bars. They got to make sure you're 18. They buzz you in. Here and in Atlanta, they're like stores. You just walk in, you shop. Everything's, like a grocery store, but like stuff. So I started buying CDs for like $1 and $2 each, because CDs back then were still, $15 to $20 each for new ones. So I'm going there buying used ones. We ended up, when we left Atlanta after 2 years, we had like hundreds of CDs. We built that collection huge, and they were all used. So we moved back to California. We become Christians. And now I want to start buying Christian CDs. So back then they had a place called The Warehouse. It was a music store. They had a huge used section, and it was easier to go there than the pawn shops out in LA. And I would go to the Christian section, and I would just buy whatever looked good. I really did not know what was good and what wasn't. I was just pulling stuff out. They're only $1 or $2, so can't go wrong. If you don't like it, you're only out $1 instead of like 15 or 20. I found a lot of good bands that way. That's how I found Deliverance, a little bit of Tourniquet, and some of the guys I know, they also knew about Tourniquet. And I found this band, Sure Conviction. I found a ton of other bands though, but this band was in there, and I only had the one CD. It was called Get Ready. There's quite a few good songs on this album. I might actually play some more in the future off of this particular album. It's really good. But I heard this song on there, and it's really, wow, it's powerful. So before we get into the lyrics of the song, I want to talk about what is the song about first. So we're going to go to Luke chapter 23 in the Bible, and starting at verse 32, 2 others also who were criminals were being led away to be put to death with him, with Jesus when they're going to be crucified. When they came to the place called the Skull, there they crucified him and the criminals, one on the right and the other on the left. I'm going to skip a little bit. They cast lots for his garments. They were making fun of Jesus and mocking him and stuff, and they were ripping up his clothes. And then they said, well, if he can save others, let him save himself, if this is the Christ of God, his chosen one. The soldiers were mocking him. They offered him sour wine and said, if you are the king of the Jews, save yourself. And there was also an inscription above him that said, this is the king of the Jews. One of the criminals who is hanging there also hurled abuse at him, saying, are you not the Christ? Save yourself and us. That's kind of weird they put the us in there. But the other answered and rebuked the other guy and said, do you not even fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed are suffering justly, for we are receiving what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong. And he said, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus said to him, truly I say to you, today you shall be with me in paradise. So this section is known as The Thief on the Cross. That's what it's called. If anybody ever says, have you ever heard the story of the thief on the cross? Well, there it is. So I'm going to read the lyrics. This song is written really well. It's from the perspective of that thief on the cross. Now, it's not completely biblical because they're, making it his perspective. That's all we know about the thief on the cross. I've been treading down this path for a while. This cross is getting heavy on my back. A mile to go. It seems like forever. To the top of this hill, I won't come back. People are spitting and yelling at us as we are stumbling on by. I'm losing my grip and I'm almost out of breath. The time is approaching for me to die. As we go to the top, they kick us on down. The crowds are getting louder and they're closing in. Our friends are gone and there's no one to save us. I deserve to die, for I was caught in sin. But what about this man in the middle? He's the one with the crown of thorns on his brow. I don't understand it. He did nothing wrong. He just said that he was the Son of God. These are some good lyrics right here. Nails were pierced through our hands and our feet. Then we cried out in agony. They lifted our crosses up to the sky. Not only was it painful, but a shameful way to die. Then it says the man in the middle chorus again. The crowd started screaming to the stranger with the thorns. If you're the Son of God, why don't you save yourself? Then the man on the other side, he joined in too. But I spoke in his defense. Then I turned to him and said, please remember me. This is the chorus of the remember me part. So this is like a half and half song. That whole first half up to the please remember me is very mellow. Not mellow, but it's mellower. And then it kicks into the harder part later. So about halfway. And it starts here. Remember me. You are innocent and I am guilty. You are a king and I am a thief. If there's one thing I need to say to you, remember me. He looked at me with love in his eyes. Then he said, I'll see you in paradise. I hung my head down. Then I died. When I opened my eyes, he was by my side. These are some good lyrics right here. Then he said, I've got someone for you to meet. He took me to his father and I fell at his feet. He said, I love you, and took me in his arms. I remembered the words I said on the cross. Remember me. You are innocent and I am guilty. You are a king and I am a thief. And then it repeats the remember me part. Oh, those are excellent lyrics right there. It's so awesome. So I already played the song a couple hours ago and there's a couple small mistakes in there. I'm leaving them in there because it's like a 6 or 6.5 minute song. It was like my 6th take. I was so tired. And I was like, I kept making mistakes right at the very end, like within the last 30 seconds of the song or something. I was like, oh, it's always at the end. And I was just getting so tired. And then I took a little break. I played it again. It still has mistakes. I'm leaving them. So I hope everyone enjoys this song and you really pay attention more to the words than to my drumming. I'm playing the song because I know it's very obscure. A lot of people have not heard this song, and I just find this song so awesome. So please enjoy this song. Thank you.
Treading down this path for a while. The cross is getting heavy on my back. A mile to go, it seems like forever. To the top of this hill, I won't come back. People are spitting and yelling at us.